Hey guys, I'm here to talk about the 1992 version of Dracula, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. I'm kind of surprised I haven't reviewed this movie in the past, but I was kind of in a mood to watch Dracula, and Dracula is like one of the stories that has been done to death. Sorry. But there's literally probably been hundreds of movies. Just to name a few, there's this one, the original 1931 version. There's the Hammer film series. There's the Dracula 2000 movies. There's all the Universal Dracula sequels. There's numerous remakes. There's a Dan Curtis remake. There's a remake with Christopher Lee, besides the Horror of Dracula 1. Nosferatu, the original and the remake. There was, apparently there was a Dracula movie made by Dario Argento. This is definitely probably one of the more famous ones that have been made. Again, directed by Francis Ford Coppola. And this was the next movie that he made after Godfather Part 3. And really, in my opinion, Francis Ford Coppola has only made a handful of good movies. This one movie, the Godfather trilogy, The Conversation, and Apocalypse Now. Other than that, his other films have been kind of mediocre, in my opinion. This Dracula movie has the distinction of really following the novel really well. This movie definitely follows the novel the best, although there's still a lot of differences. I think I reviewed the book a long time ago, but I didn't read all of the book. I think I read like half of it, and I had seen so many movies, I knew how it ended anyway, so I reviewed the book. So if you get offended by that, I'm sorry, but in this movie, they kind of make Dracula the character that you feel sorry for, the sympathetic character, when I think Dracula should be the character that you hate. This movie it's highly romanticized. I mean, this movie should be called Francis Ford Coppola's Dracula, because it's just very, very romanticized. Again, I haven't read the whole book, but from what I remember, I don't remember ever feeling sympathetic for Dracula in the book. And in this movie, it starts out exactly the same. And if you've read Dracula, you know Dracula is written through like diary entries and letters and stuff. The movie is kind of narrated that way. There's a lot of narration from Jonathan Harker's journal and Dr. Seward's diaries. And we have Van Helsing, played by Anthony Hopkins. Gary Oldman plays Dracula. Winona Ryder is Mina Murray. Keanu Reeves is Jonathan Harker. And a lot of people hate Keanu Reeves in this movie. And yeah, I kind of hate him too. He's just not a very good actor in general. You know, it's kind of like a Sofia Coppola situation in Godfather 3. Although I don't really like Winona Ryder either that much. But and again, I can't really picture anyone else doing the role. If you don't know what Dracula's about, Jonathan Harker goes to Dracula's castle to sell him real estate, and Dracula ends up taking him prisoner after he finds out that he has a really beautiful woman, and he ends up going to London and puts her, along with her friend Lucy Westenra, under his spell, kills Lucy, then tries to put Mina under his spell. This movie connects Dracula with Vlad the Impaler. Now, Bram Stoker based Dracula off of Vlad the Impaler. That is a real historical person. And I guess Vlad the Impaler's nickname was Vlad Dracula because he liked to impale people, and I guess he was a cannibal or something, I'm not sure. But in this movie we have Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman plays Dracula. Like, he looks exactly like Vlad the Impaler. But then there's other moments where we see Dracula, like in the very beginning, the first time you see Dracula, he's very ugly, old, his face is white, he has the weird hairdo going. And in the book, along with this movie, as each time Dracula kills somebody and drinks their blood, he gets younger. He never gets attractive. He gets younger. And that kind of carries something into this book from the novel. But, like I said, like in this movie, it made it seem like Mina wanted to turn into a vampire so she could be with Dracula. But maybe it was because she was under his spell. But I know, like in the 1931 version and in like numerous other versions, Mina was afraid of Dracula. In this movie, she really wasn't afraid of him. And you kind of get teary-eyed again for Dracula. And at the end of the movie, Dracula kind of gets redeemed by God, and Mina gives him peace. And I guess, I don't know. I mean, I do love the movie, but I can't help but think of all of the differences between the movie and the novel. You know, and it's still a really good movie. I mean, definitely if you've read the book, I think you will appreciate this movie more than the billion other versions of Dracula made. This is definitely one of my favorite versions of Dracula. I really like this movie. It won 3 Academy Awards, but it wasn't like any big ones. It won Best Costume Design, Best Makeup, and Best Sound Effects Editing. I think, this really was Francis Ford Coppola's last really good movie. After this, he didn't really make anything like classic, anything that we remember him by. Francis Ford Coppola needs to come back, but he doesn't. I guess he doesn't like to make big budget movies anymore. He likes to make movies that he wants to make, which I guess is good. But then again, you kind of have to satisfy your fans or your public, you know, every once in a while. But I'm definitely going to have to read the book now, because I don't think that Bram Stoker makes you feel sorry for Dracula in the book. If he does, like, leave a comment below and tell me. But as far as I can remember, I know Dracula forces Mina to drink his blood, and I am pretty sure Mina is terrified of Dracula in the book, while in this movie, for the most part, she wants to become a vampire, to be with him. But then, it's just very complicated. You have to watch it. It's kind of like you never know if she's doing this because she's under Dracula's spell, or if it's of her own free will, which I'm kind of willing to bet it's because she's under his spell. But if you can get past all those differences, and if you've read the book, it's still a really good movie. Highly recommend it. If you're a Francis Ford Coppola fan and you've gotten sick of all the shitty movies that he's made besides the Godfather trilogy and Apocalypse Now, check this one out if you haven't seen it. Or if you're a Dracula fan in general, check it out. I know most likely the version that you will see in the store is the 2-disc edition. And I do want to get that version. I almost bought it the other day. I am going to rebuy this movie. But, again, really good. I think it's on Netflix. I think you can watch it on Netflix. So, check it out if you want to watch it. Very good adaptation of Dracula. I'd say it might be my favorite adaptation, although I do like the Universal classic. I do like the Hammer one, and I did see the 1979 one with Frank Langella, which is that movie basically does not follow the novel at all. It's just a love story, but it's still a good movie, you know. But you know, check it out, Dracula. You know, Gary Oldman's good. Winona Ryder, not really, and Anthony Hopkins is kind of plays an over-the-top character in this movie, and it features a young Cary Elwes. He was in Liar Liar, and he was Dr. Gordon in the Saw movies. But yeah, check out Dracula. Good movie.